Everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to take a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution Wave 4 Core Class Dinobot Snarl. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. Is it a pickup or a pass? Now let's take a look at the figure's packaging. So here we have the packaging. Starting at the very front, we have Transformers. On the side, we have the Legacy Evolution logo. At the bottom of the box, we have Dinobot Snarl in white text with a white output symbol. We have an open window displaying the figure in the packaging. We have another Legacy Evolution logo at the top of the box. We have a really cool image or artwork shot of Snarl in his Dinosaur Mode. If we do turn to the side, we have another really cool image or action pose or artwork shot of Snarl in his Robot Mode with his sword and Core Class in several different languages. If we do look at the back of the box, the figure transforms in 8 steps. This is the 6th and final member you need to complete and finish the Combiner Volcanicus. We also do have a product shot of Snarl and his robot and his Dinosaur alt mode. And if we do look at the final side here, we have half of the Legacy Evolution artwork. So if you do get another Core Class from this Legacy Evolution line and put both boxes together, you can complete the artwork. And that is pretty much it for the packaging. So let's now get into the review. Here we have Snarl in his robot mode. Let's take a look at the details, starting at the very top with the head sculpt. We have some luminous white for the entire face, some metallic blue for the eyes, and some glossy black for the entire helmet section, with a really cool kind of crown spike section sculpted in on the top of the head as well, with these really cool kind of antler spike sections behind the shoulders and a really nice kind of dark, sort of bright gold mixture. I think it looks pretty cool. I just like the dark gray for the entire shoulder, forearm, and bicep, with some really nice black for the hand. I think they did some really nice sculpt work for the entire fist and the knuckle region on the hand, with some more glossy black and red for the entire chest, looking very big, beefy, and broad and strong. I do like all the silver and the bright gold for the huge feet and huge spikes at the front of the legs, and I do like the small little cute dino legs kind of sticking out the back. And if you do look at the side of the leg, that is some amazing detailing and sculpt work there, really cool tubing and wiring and circuitry detailing. And if we do look at the back, overall pretty well filled in. Kibble wise, he really doesn't have much. He has a bit of a backpack, but technically this piece is removable. In case you're wondering, there is a bit of part spring involved with the figure and the transformation that might bother some people. It's never really bothered me, but there is actually kind of an option. If you don't like this panel, you can technically remove it and just put it off to the side, but I actually think it looks pretty cool. I think there's some really nice glossy red, and the really cool spikes just kind of adds that very rough and tough, you know, broad, strong, Dinobot looking vibe and feel to the figure. But that is it for details. Definitely one area of complaint that I have is the arms. They're sorely lacking in paint apps and details, but the rest of the figure has some amazing detailing, like the side of the legs and the silver, and of course the really cool gold. Just seems just a bit bare in these areas. Kind of seems like they forgot them, or sort of a prototype. So maybe could have used a bit more silver and gold for the shoulder and the form. The hands are actually really well detailed. I do like the glossy black. So just a few bare areas here and there. As for articulation, actually probably one of the more posable of the 6 core class Dinobots. So of course the head can rotate side to side. It cannot look up or down, and it cannot tilt side to side either. Technically, these little kind of antler pieces or tail pieces can move if you want to. They're on a swivel joint, so you can move these forward and back. So there's a bit of customization or posability there. The arms can move in and out, forward and back on a ball joint. There's also an elbow bend there, which I think is a pretty good degree on a single hinge. There's actually also a butterfly joint, mostly due to transformation, but you can use that for poses if you want to. And if you do move the arms out of the way, there is a full functioning waist rotation all the way around, completely unhindered. Really good to see on a core class figure. Also, the legs can kick forward, back, out to the side on a ball joint. There's slight rotation at the top of the leg. There is also a knee bend to a very good degree, and unfortunately there is nothing out of the foot. That's probably one of my biggest complaints with most of these core class Dinobots. They're pretty stock down from the waist. There's a little bit of movement in the legs, but there really could be some in the feet, like a toe pivot and an ankle pivot, just to a small degree would be very helpful for poses. But that is it for articulation. Let me just quickly straighten up the figure, and then we can cover his accessory. So he does come with one sword, which I think is pretty cool, really well detailed. Maybe could have been better if it was like silver. It's just kind of that boring gray, but I do like that really nice detailing on there. And that can store in the hand using that post-import system. I think that looks pretty cool. And that is it for accessories. Now for one quick group comparison, here we have all 6 core class Dinobots in their robot modes side by side, looking absolutely awesome. Let me know in the comments of all 6 core class Dinobots, which one is your favorite. If I were to choose right now, it would probably be the core class Swoop. Also, what combiner would you like to see next in this core class scale? So now for transformation, what you want to do is start at the top of the head. You're actually going to rotate the head all the way around like that. Then you're actually going to hinge both tail halves together. There is a post on this side and a corresponding port on the other side. So just hinge both halves together and tab them into place like that. Then we're actually going to go to the arms and the shoulders. You're actually going to bend at the elbow. There is also a tab pretty much where the armpit is, and there is a slot pretty much underneath the arm, and that's just going to lock and tab into place like that. You're going to do the exact same process on the other side. So bend at the elbow and then just lock the entire elbow and arm into place like that. Then you're actually going to flip the entire figure all the way around. You're actually going to bend at the knee, just hinge this like that. Then you can actually flip out half of the dinosaur head like that. Do the exact same process on the other side. So just bend at the knee, get the entire half of the dinosaur head, just flip that out again like that. And then of course you can just hinge this entire section in. There is a tab right there and a slot right there. That's just going to tab into place like that. Do the exact same process on the other side. Just bend this in, and all of that will lock into place nice and securely. And then you can actually tab both halves together if they haven't already. And that is pretty much it for transformation. Let's now take a look at the details. Here we have Snarl in his Dinosaur Alt mode. Let's take a look at the details. Starting at the very front, I do like that really nice bright gold for the entire helmet section or snout section of the dinosaur heads, with some really nice metallic blue for the eyes, and a very classic Autobot symbol on the top of the head there, with some really cool gold spikes going down the entire back of the dinosaur, with some really nice kind of mechanical and circuitry detailing sculpted in on the side, done a really nice bright silver with some really nice glossy red at that back section there, with some really nice sculpt work as well. And of course, you do have the small tail. Probably my biggest complaint, which you can already guess, is the exposed hands back here. That looks a bit odd, but it's a core class, so I'm slightly less picky with these size of figures, and of course the budget is significantly less, so I'll kind of allow a few more things like this, but not on a Voyager and a Leader. And this is what the bottom of the dinosaur looks like, and of course we do have the top. And as far as articulation goes, it's pretty much completely stock. Everything is locked into place. The front dino legs don't move at all, and the back dino legs are actually the arms from the robot mode, but those are also locked in as well. If you wanted to, you probably could untab a few things and maybe try and work in some articulation, but as it is, it's pretty much completely stock. But as for accessory storage, of course, the small sword can store in two different ways. There is actually one on the bottom, so there's a slot there, and of course a tab on the sword, and there's another way on the top. There is a slot here and a tab on the sword. You can really choose either one. Unfortunately, both connections are not the most secure, at least on my copy anyway, tolerance wise, so it does have a tendency to kind of pop off, which is a bit unfortunate, but still pretty good storage. I'm actually really glad how there's two different options or two different ways you can store it. It's much better than just one. But that is it for accessory storage. Now for one quick group alt mode comparison, here we have all 6 core class Dinobots in their Dinosaur alt modes. I think they look absolutely awesome side by side. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see Hasbro maybe repack all 6 of these in one big box set, kind of like how they did the Legacy Stuntcons with added paint apps and accessories. I think that'd be a really good idea, and I hope they do that. So now for transformation into Snarl's Combiner Limb or Combiner Leg mode, what you're going to do is grab the entire front portion of the dinosaur and hold the back portion of the dinosaur. You're actually going to pretty much pull both sections away from each other like that and just fully extend the legs or the front portion of the dinosaur like that. And how this is tabbed in place is there is 2 slots and 2 tabs. Then you can actually just pull this entire back spike piece and just take this away and put that off to the side for now. And how that was tabbed in place is there is 2 slots and tabs on the actual panel that you removed from the figure or the dinosaur alt mode. Then you can actually split the legs or the front portion of the dinosaur. Then you're going to fold in both the dinosaur head halves back into place how they were in the robot mode. Then you can actually tab both legs back together like that, and you're pretty much going to put the legs back in the same position how they were before in the dinosaur alt mode. This time actually you're going to use different connections or different tabs and slots. There's actually 2 slots and 2 tabs, and that's just going to tab into place like that. And then you're actually going to grab this entire combiner peg or post and just hinge that entire section up like that. And then we can go to the front. You can actually untap both arms like that and fully extend them using that elbow joint. Then you can actually get the entire butterfly joint and hinge both arms as far forward as you can. And how all this is going to tab together, there is 2 sets of tabs on the underside of both arms, and there is 2 slots pretty much where the crotch or the waist is. There is also a tab on this shoulder and a slot on the other one. And then of course you're just going to tab all that together nice and securely like that. Just make sure everything is squeezed and secured into place like that. And then you can get that panel that I removed earlier in the transformation. There is 2 pegs and 2 ports, and that is just going to tab into place like that. And that is it for the transformation for Snarl into his combiner limb or combiner leg mode. Now I won't be showing off the full Volcanicus combiner in this video or review, because I actually will have a separate video very soon on the channel where I'm actually fully covering all of Volcanicus. So it'll actually be kind of his own separate, video, his own review, because I have seen other people, they'll do kind of a 2-in-1 where they'll review Snarl and Volcanicus in the same video, which is fine, but I actually kind of want to give all the attention I can that Volcanicus combiner and not have to share it with another figure, not go back and forth between 2 figures or 2 combiners or 2 Dinobots. So I kind of want to give his own attention, his own video, his own review. So I'm not really going to spoil all the details and all my thoughts on the combiner in this one, because this video is really just for Snarl, not Volcanicus as well. So I'm really just going to quickly kind of cover the leg or the limb mode here. And I think it looks pretty cool. On its own, it's fun. I do just have to say now, I'm not actually a big fan of the color scheme they chose for this limb specifically, because once you see that separate video or review about Volcanicus on the channel very soon, you can see when it's fully put together, it does seem a bit out of place with Snarl, because there's this huge chunk of red right here, when most of the other Dinobots don't really have any red. They'll have a few details of red, here and there, like maybe their eyes or a few parts of their dinosaur or something like that, like maybe their teeth, but not huge chunks. So it really does stick out like a sore thumb with this huge chunk of red. Again, on its own, it looks really cool. This piece is used actually very importantly in the other 2 modes. It's actually pretty much the entire back section of the dinosaur and the back section of the robot, and it looks pretty cool in those modes, but when it's combined with Volcanicus, it doesn't look the greatest. But I do like the really cool spike section at the top, and of course you do have the combiner post there, and of course there's some really cool details in the back that we've seen before in other modes. And as for accessory storage, you can store the sword in the combiner limb or combiner leg mode, but unfortunately, at least on my copy anyway, the connection is not the most secure. There's a tab and of course a slot right there, and it never really wants to say, and I don't really want to put it on there, and have a chance of losing it because it's a very small piece, so I typically do just put it off to the side. But that's pretty much it for Snarl's combiner limb or combiner leg mode. Let's now get down to the final thoughts. Now for my final thoughts on the Transformers Legacy Evolution Wave 4 Core Class Dinobot Snarl. If you didn't know, Snarl is the 6th and final member of the Core Class Dinobots required to complete the Combiner Volcanicus. I will have a separate video ranking the Core Class Dinobots from my favorite to least and reviewing the Dinobot Combiner Volcanicus on the channel very soon. Starting in the robot mode, Snarl's deco and design has very nice glossy black and red paint apps with really cool spikes scattered across the entire figure. As for accessories, Snarl comes with one small sword which can be held in the figure's hand or stored on the back. As for articulation, Snarl is more posable than some of the previous Core Class Dinobots. One of my biggest complaints of the figure is that it could use some more paint apps. Transformation into the Stegosaurus mode is very straightforward and fun, but does require some parts forming, which really doesn't bother me. Snarl's Dinosaur mode has really nice mechanical detailing and gold spikes going down the entire back of the dinosaur, and the small sword can be stored underneath or on top of the all mode. I think it would be really cool if Hasbro could give the Legacy Evolution Dinobots the same treatment they gave the Legacy Stunticons, where they could put all 6 Dinobots in one pack or set with added paint apps and accessories. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time.